welcome to the channel. It's Brad. I hope that the sound is it's okay. Had a bit of a pickle with the mic just before I started, so hopefully there is no issue on your end. And the reason we are gathered, reason for tonight's live stream, you can also see it from the title, but it is a new moon in Leo, or in Leo. And the new moon happens today for you guys, my friends in America, 7:13 a.m. and the moon is it became full in the sign of Leo, 12 degrees 34 minutes for those of you that do care. And the time frame of tonight's forecast is going to be all the way up until the 19th of August. 2:26 p.m. when the moon will become full in Aquarius, 27 degrees and 15 minutes, again for those of you that do care about the degree. And for those of you who know me, I am Rad. I do tarot interpretations, and the first thing that I'm going to do for tonight's live stream, that is going to be the collective reading. And how this new moon in Leo is going to, or how the new moon phase is going to affect us collectively. And I drew the cards a few hours ago. The first card that I drew, and I drew them so I can use them for the thumbnail. And the first one that I drew, that is the Five of Pentacles. It's a card. Followed by the second card that stands as the moon. And the third one, we have the Five of Wands, right? So these three cards. And the interpretations, it's pretty easy. Sometimes they're quite complicated, but this one is super easy. Although being very specific with it, it's just gonna be a speculation. Because what we do have, all of us, in our lives, are a certain issues, right? We do have a problems that are on the daily basis. This is going to be the main focus on that moon phase that starts into the sign of Leo. It's gonna focus on these issues, concerns, predicaments, problems that we do have on a daily basis. And it will strive, this influence is gonna strive to resolve them. Now, the resolution, though, will pretty much put us in a state where we're gonna start changing the lifestyle we do have. Just off the top of my head, should that be health concerns, obviously changing of the lifestyle, starting a workout routine, starting some kind of a diet, some kind of a regimen, and so on and so forth. You may have on a daily basis problems with your colleagues, and then that will mean that you are going to start changing the style you address your colleagues and the style you're doing your job, and so on and so forth. And all that is going to pretty much be dictated. This transformation, because truly is going to be a transformation, is going to be dictated by our emotions. So this isn't something you, me, or anybody else has to brainstorm and overthink and generally think about it. This strive for changing the lifestyle is going to come from within. In other words, we alone are going to want to do that step, to do that particular change. And the change itself will be in a controlled environment. What I mean, it is that highly unlikely, not impossible, because the clash of the elements here is neutral. So for some of us, obviously there are going to be some extremes, but for the most part, the environment is going to be controlled, meaning that as we strive to make that particular change into the lifestyle, so we solve these problems that are on a daily basis, the circumstances through which this transformation is to happen are going to be controlled by us. So on our term. And suffice to say, that is an amazing time for each one of us to make a turn. Okay, you feel that you are not on the right path in your life, well, it's now is the time to make a turn. And what should be your guide? Your emotions, right? In whichever field you do feel uncertain, you do feel insecure, that is the field you need to make a turn about. And that is the collective reading. Now there are going to be 12 more readings, just like this one for each star sign, and I'm going to run down the ecliptic, meaning that I'm going to start from Aries and I'm going to end up with Pisces. Now bear in mind, these are going to be readings for your star signs, so they are going to affect you to a certain magnitude, but not entirely, meaning that you should take that information as a guidance, something to open your eyes for different options available. But very seldom these happens to be readings that are going to give you the concrete answer to whatever questions you do have or whatever predicament you are facing. And for that purpose, meaning if you do wish your personal situations to be a subject of my tarot interpretation, you can go to my website, a link of which you're going to find in the description down below, and there at the very front page you can see full list of my services, and as well there are pricing, and based on your budget and your needs, you can go for whichever one pretty much suits you best. Other than that, if you do enjoy the show and you do wish to support us, you can do so using either Super Chat or a PayPal. The PayPal link you're going to find in the description down below as well, and based on your budget and also your needs. No, that was the script for the previous one. So anyone who does so, you guys are going to have a reading at the end of the stream. That's pretty much guaranteed. But yeah, I mean, you can support us based on your budget and as well, you know, your needs. Anyway, going forward, the first star sign we do have on our hands, that's going to be Aries. By the way, Yasmin, thank you for the 20 US dollars. Thank you, Yasmin. And as well, Taco, thank you for the $77 made in 77 cents. Thank you, Taco. Thank you. Let me put you into the list. Okay. Actually, you guys are always on the top of my list, right? I just don't bother anymore to remove you from there, and I just have to kind of like fix something for Taco here. There we go. Okay. My most loyal patrons, thank you for your support, for your generosity. Thank you. All right, Aries. First card for Aries, 5 of Cups, followed by the Death card, and the last one, that will be the 6 of Cups. So it's it will look like a conundrum. Within this time frame of the lunar cycle, from 4th to 19th, I believe it was. Yeah, from 4th to 19th, there will be back and forth with you in regards to something that you recently let go of. You may have let go of a relationship, of a friend, of a hobby, of a lifestyle, for example, or a job, you know, client, whatever, something that you willingly let go of. There is going to be back and forth. You kind of like juggling your head whether you made the right choice to let go of it or not. And your choice to let go of it was 100% correct. No question about it. And the thing it is that, imagine your disappointment or the feel of loss when you did it. Say you love the person you were with, but you took an executive decision to kind of like sever ties because you identify that you are going to be better off by yourself. Okay. And obviously at the start, you will feel like a garbage, like you're going to feel like your life was ripped off your chest. But this is a gauge. And the more the time progresses within this transit, the more that gauge is going to obey, the more is going to shrink. And by the end of this transit, you are now going to again keep on experiencing the fullness of life and the joy from life that you had experienced beforehand. In other words, this disappointment or a sense of loss is just not going to affect you anymore. And if I were Aries, I would give an example with myself. That could be quitting smoking, you know, something that I am sentimentally attached to. And I'm going to feel like shit at the start. But the more I do not smoke, the more I'm going to start enjoying my coffee again. Because right now I just can't fathom enjoying coffee without, you know, smoking. It's just beyond me to fathom it. But obviously people do it and they do like coffee, so it's possible. You know what I mean? Thank you, Chukalisa. Hope you enjoy the content. Right, so that was Aries. Moving next, we do have Taurus. Hold on a second, guys. My deck's kind of messed up. All right, so in order now. The lovers for Taurus. Moving on next, that will be the Death card as well, which is a very weak elemental dignity actually. In between the lovers and the Death card, and that is the Three of Cups here. I don't want to lie to you. It's gonna be a very, very weak influence upon you, which of course it could be a super big blessing in disguise. And it's quite peripheral, all right? Simply said, you are always going to be able to find replacement. You know, someone doesn't want to keep up with you, like he doesn't want to keep up a communication with you, big deal. You know, you will just not gonna care because you can simply replace that individual with someone else, you know, to keep up communication, to keep up kind of like partying and whatnot, and having someone to socialize with and so on and so forth. One hobby, for example, is gonna stop giving you the pleasure that usually gives you, a big deal, you're gonna replace it with another, so you're just not gonna have any issues whatsoever, okay, to fill up the gaps, any gaps that may appear within this transit. The biggest influence of this lunar phase for you is that you literally cannot make the wrong choice no matter what. The reason for it is because no matter what you choose, you're going to have a path forward, right? So the matter is all about, the matter is going to be all about what you can live with. Whether you can live with what you want or whether you can live with what you have to. And while this is going to be a great thing for you, not being able to kind of like mess the things around and always having the right choice in front of you, having two right choices is also a burden, because many people in those situations, I will approach the matter in that way. The reason why sometimes we do have two right choices is to realize that at the end of the day, we just cannot have it all, right? At some point, something has to give. But again, it's going to be on your terms. You decide which is going to give. Whether it's going to give what you want or whether it's going to give what you have to. One of the two. All right, Gemini. Uh, Seven of Wands. Now, Seven of Wands, guys, it could be super positive card. It could be super negative. That depends on the elemental clash. Nine of Pentacles. Six of Wands. Is gonna be in a negative way. Not for you though. Okay. So this is what happens here. In this lunar cycle, you are gonna get something. Or rather, like you're gonna be given something. Whether you're gonna be given an appreciation, whether you're gonna be given an accommodation, whether you're gonna be given an accolades, whether you're gonna be given a appraisal, right, recognition, bonuses, rewards. You are gonna be given, imagine it that way, a gifts. And this is gonna piss those around you. For example, you're gonna be given a bonus that is gonna piss your colleagues. You're gonna be given an appreciation, a recognition from your supervisor, from your boss. Again, this is gonna piss off your colleagues, and so on and so forth. Now, the thing that you're gonna be given an appreciation for, or even worse, all right? Imagine you have that social circle, you and two other, say, girls or boys, depending on what kind of a social circle you're going into. And imagine a guy shows up and you all like it, but that guy chooses you. And instantly, those girls you're going out with, they will not gonna have a, how can I put it into words, a good reception to it. And let's put it that way, you are going to these rewards, that attention that you're going to get, that recognition is going to win you some, in best case scenario, some competition. Okay, in worst case scenario, a surreptitious rivals and enemies as well. But this, personally for you, Gemini, that's going to be a time frame of 2 weeks where you're going to get rewarded. Okay, you will have acquisitions. Okay, next, that will be Cancer. Page of Pentacles. The Emperor. Four of Wands. That is taking a break, but in a very weird way. This isn't going to be resting, okay? This isn't going to be respite in any literal sense of the word, but still is going to be taking a break for you. So I will try to explain it that way. Say right now you're super busy, whether with the job, whether with, you know, social activities, but you're doing it because people rely on you, right? People rely for you to do your job. People rely for you to kind of like clean up their mess and whatnot. And it's just, this is a obligation that you are doing by that point. And into this full moon, instead of going for the obligations, you're going to have the incentive to go for the value. What I mean is that there is going to be that one thing. That could be a person, that could be a project, it could be a job or an idea, whatever the case. But one thing that simultaneously is going to have a huge value for you, is going to worth it overall, and it's not going to feel like a chore at all. And for you, while also that thing is going to keep you very, very busy, whether busy with that new relationship you're starting, whether busy with that hobby, you know, you have just acquired, whether busy with that project that you have just embarked, still busy, but it's going to feel good busy, all right? It's going to feel like you're actually doing something very, very meaningful for yourself. And the only unpleasant thing that I'm seeing here within this card is that with those obligations, with these chores, you're going to leave the work halfway done, right? And that could kind of like undermine the reliability that you have built so hard up until this moment to your clients, to your colleagues, to your friends, and so on and so forth. But this is a matter of choice, all right? If you wish, you can keep up with that influence of obligations and go forward with it. But if you wish, this time around, you can actually do something for yourself for a change. Nancy, thank you for the $20. Thank you, Nancy. Let me put you into the list. All right, next. Leo. Five of Swords. Six of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. You're welcome, living girl. That is a dangerous impulse, and I'm starting that way, although Pisces Moonbeam probably does not approve. I am starting that way because I cannot stress you enough how important it is to recognize what I am about to say, right? So what happens here is that somewhere along the way in the next couple of weeks, it simply will not going to be enough for you. Whether the job isn't going to be enough for you, whether the state of the relationship isn't going to be enough for you, whether the social circle you do have isn't going to be enough for you, whether your life overall ain't going to be enough for you. And this feeling is going to immediately spark is a quite of a mild word for that. Combust, conflagrate. A feeling that you have to do something about it now, right? And this is where the danger lies, within this impulse that you are going to have to do something about it right now in this very moment, for two reasons. Now, one of the reasons, which is the more milder reason, is that the first thing that is going to cross your mind in order to remedy that situation is to do something unthinkable. What I mean is something that up until this point you would have given a really good thought into, but at that point it will look like the most logical thing for you to do. You're just not going to think about it. That will be the first option available in front of you. But the second reason, which is more troublesome, it is that you can overextend a big time. And it just is going to end up being a Pyrrhic victory for you if you go down that road with the overextension. Because at the end of the day, what will happen is, yes, you are going to get more, but you will have to pay for it way more than what you are going to get. Okay? So self-control, self-balance, and recognition of how far you can go with, it's gonna be crucial for you. This isn't a time frame where, for example, you take a loans. This isn't a time frame where, for example, you rely on favors and so on and so forth. That should be a time frame where if you cannot do it with your current resources, you better don't touch it. Because the interest of these extra resources that you may get, like again, loan, favors, and so on and so forth, is going to be far greater than what you're going to get for your efforts. All right, that was Leo. Now moving next, we have Virgo. Judgment. Hmm. Queen of Pentacles. Six of Cups. That will be a serious breakthrough. And I'm saying serious in a way that there is going to be a lot at stake. So that isn't going to be a breakthrough to be trifled with. That could be a job breakthrough, a personal project breakthrough. It's just there is going to be a huge breakthrough for you. A lot of breakthrough and so on and so forth. Judgment stands always for the ideal path forward. Okay, like people interpret it as a wake-up call. That wake-up call is the ideal path forward. The option available in front of you that carries on with it, no compromises with either the process or the results. Okay, so that is the breakthrough that you are going to have, but it's going to have a serious stakes again, and you need to address it in the full extent of your seriousness whatsoever. And the only negative thing, and this isn't even negative, right? But let's say the only unpleasant thing is going to be that it will have to be a replacement. What I mean here is that you will have to give up on a different growth in order to get that breakthrough growth here. But it's not going to be a big deal because for the most part, where that growth needs to be given, you almost have reached the full potential or the maximum potential of it. And whatever you have accomplished thus far, it stays there. That isn't something like you have to give away, but give out from, all right? Like stop it here and just focus on something else. But that what you have stopped, it stays where it is for you. News Devon, thank you for the £5. You know that needs to be a Lenormand reading, so let me put you into the list. All right, moving next, Libra. Queen of Pentacles, again. The Wheel of Fortune. Four of Swords. It's a treasure, right? It is a treasure. Treasure that you are sitting on. Here is the deal, guys. This lunar transit for you is going to be very aggravating. For reason being is that you, like I said, you are sitting on a treasure. Whether you are sitting on a treasure, that treasure is your job, right? Whether that treasure is the relationship you do have or the home you are in and so on and so forth, right? So you are sitting on that treasure and there is going to be that person or this entity or that circle of people that will try to talk you out of it and try to talk you out of this treasure. In other words, to sell your house, to quit your job, to break your relationship, and so on and so forth. And what I am pissed about, it is that their argument are gonna feel and seem very solid. So if you aren't aware of how fortunate you are, then you may end up being beguiled to do it, okay, to give up on your treasure. And this treasure has even more to give, right? That is just the gift that never stops giving, right? And that needs to be your guiding sign here. As soon as there are going to be those people that are telling you, you know what, that person isn't for you, or this job, it's kind of like it doesn't appreciate you, and so on and so forth. You know that that's your treasure and you shouldn't listen to these people. Right, next. Scorpio. Death, which is the Scorpio card itself. King of Pentacles. Queen of Cups. That's really good. First of all, within this time frame, with Scorpio, we'll finally kind of like stuff it in our heads that there is that person who is not just only there for us, but cares for us and loves us like none other before. So that is a unique humanly asset, if I may put it that way, that we do have on our that doesn't have to be a romantic love. It could be parental love. For example, that may be your boss who loves you like their son or like their daughter and just want to protect you, right? Because there is a protection involved into that thing. For a protection or a guy like that individual wants to take you under their wing, either entirely or just in a certain aspects, and just guide you through life, because they do know what they're doing and what they're talking about, and that itself will make a significant impact, right? It's gonna make a significant difference towards the better. Another thing is that they don't care what they are going to invest. right? What I mean is that for them, that investment in you, in us, because I'm Scorpio as well, it's no matter how big it is, it's worth it every day of the week, right? Every day of the week, they would have do it, no matter the results, no matter the consequences, and they will have no question or regret about it. That is a real gold that this full moon, new moon, I'm sorry, in Leo is going to shine upon for us. Now, some of us may know that person, some of us may not yet, okay? That individual may show up, but their presence is going to start transforming our lives and wash away anything that does not contribute anymore. And they will replace it, obviously, with such a things and such an activities that will start contributing. All right, next, Sagittarius. The Hierophant. Nine of Wands. Ace of Swords. These are disturbing newses, right? There are going to be some disturbing newses that will not going to affect you directly. This is what I mean. Say you are developing business, right? And to you it comes a news that just exactly the same business model colossally failed recently, right? So it doesn't affect you directly, but it has an impact, right? And it's gonna be very important to be convinced in what you are doing and believe in your own process, because according to these cards, your process ironclad, right? It's indomitable, and ultimately it's gonna start earning you, whether earning you respect, whether earning you trust, whether earning you feelings, whether earning you money. But especially for the money, the first thing that you need to earn is your name, right? So you work for your name, and then your name is gonna start working for you. And yes, I mean, you can make a slight corrections based on this information that is going to come your way, but they need to be slight corrections, not a maneuver changing type of corrections to your plan or to your process. So you're on the right track. Just believe in it. All right, next, Capricorn. Six of Swords. The Tower. It's the Page of Wands. It's a crisis. Very unexpected one. Well, what I mean under unexpected is that the circumstances through which the crisis will ensue, you could never think of them, right? So the emergence, rather like the emerging of this crisis, it was not your fault. And I'm saying that because some of you may batter yourself, or how could I not see it? Well, you couldn't. Nobody could have, right? So it isn't your fault. And that crisis, good thing it is that the Tower is not the prime card, meaning that the crisis, although is going to be quite severe, it's halfway threatening, right? What I mean is that you can weather it without kind of like having any losses whatsoever, but that will depend how big of a risk taker you are. According to these cards, weathering that crisis without taking any blows will require a huge amount of risk, right? A huge amount of risk. And this crisis will affect your dream. So think of it, what you're dreaming about. In that narrative, it is where the crisis shows up. And from you, what will be required is swift actions, huge courage, and willingness to cross certain thresholds. What thresholds? Obviously, that will depend on the crisis itself, the situation, so on. All right, Aquarius. Nine of Pentacles. Three of Wands. Six of Swords. All right, I'm rising Aquarius. I don't like those cards. What shows up for Aquarius, it's a really good opportunity. But unfortunately, we aren't quite ready for it. Okay, we're just with that growth or without progression, we aren't just quite as far as we should be in order to take on that that opportunity now. That is no different than being a third year lawyer student and having the opportunity to start working for a huge firm, but you aren't quite there yet with your education, right? And taking on right now that offer, it could quite severely damage your reputation moving forward, right? Or our reputation, because I am Aquarius as well. However, this option to make a growth will remain there. Okay, so it's going to be quite important not to take any rash actions that we just can't take back afterwards, or say things obviously we can't take back afterwards. But this full moon in Leo is gonna kind of like, how can I put it into words, kind of like tease us, maybe it is the word, what we could be in the future. And like I said, we're gonna want it now, and moving forward now is going to predispose for a big failure. So will be important to be objective about, what we can do and what we can't in the next couple of weeks. But like I said, okay, the prospect, the option is going to be there for us. It's going to await us to kind of like finish our growth, to establish the patterns required, and then we can take it. All right, and last but not least, Pisces. The Hermit. Two of Cups. Seven of Pentacles. That may be a big love, guys. If it happens, that you start liking someone, and if it happens that you start falling in love with someone, it's going to be mutual and it's the next big thing. All right, it's going to be a super meaningful. That is a very specific case with those cards. It's, with that Seven of Pentacles, it seals the deal where, you know, whatever you feel, whatever you give, it will be reciprocated. Simple as that. But misunderstood from those that are not involved. That will be the downside, okay? So you end up loving someone, that person end up loving with you, your family, your friends will just not gonna fathom what you do find in the girl or what you do find in the guy, right? And they unfortunately never will. And that may be also a predisposition some people to abandon you, simple as that. But in whichever field you are lacking, whether you lack at work, whether you lack at career, whether you lack at social, whether you lack at love, whichever field you are lacking, there will be a feel to it. It's just that feel or that feel will be only yours. And again, for that reason, you may start feeling a withdrawal. Maybe it's the best word I can say, from others that are not involved with that feel. Other than that, this should be very, very peaceful couple of weeks for you, where everybody's gonna mind their own business just as you are going to, and no one's gonna bother you. Simple as that, unless you do not start bother them. Alright guys, so that was the 12th, and now the super chat. Yasmin, those are your cards. And you will tackle a situation that involves kind of like a hard choice. Let's put it that way. You will tackle a situation that requires a hard choice to be made, no matter what. And it doesn't fall to you organically. What I mean is that someone else is supposed to make that decision. But alas, that someone else caves as a rabbit heart. It's what we like to call it here in our country. And it falls to you. And it does look like that well, you will be appraised for it, let's put it that way, because your handling here is gonna be a good one. Right? It's just, I can't say really immaculate. It will have its bumps along the road, but ultimately it will produce desired results. So most likely we can see here in career, and the reason for one of the reasons why the situation is going to be problematic: insufficient funds or insufficient material support, for a lack of better expression. It doesn't have to be money. It could be some kind of other resources, but it's just they're going to be insufficient, and no one is going to want to take a decision on the insufficient funds, but you will, and it's going to be a winner. Simple as that. All right. Next, Taco. So let's see, mate. Three events. There are going to be 3 events that we're gonna check for you in this transit. Let's see what kind of events you're going to be part of. I was about to say a victim of, but a part of. All right, Taco, first one. Those are the 3 Lenormand cards. Health, right? Improvement of health. Let's see how that thing is gonna go. Let me draw the tarot. Yeah, it's a huge thing. All right, so these are the tarot cards. It's a compensation, right? What I mean is that whether the way you are performing your treatment, or you are having your lifestyle, it's a bit insufficient, for lack of better expression, or let's put it that way, mate. According to these cards, you aren't doing it right, right? And you're going to be steered in the right direction, most likely through criticism. So you may end up being criticized by your doctor, or by your wife, or by a friend, for how you are, caring for your health, and that will steer you in the right direction to make a kind of like significant health improvements. All right, so next. Those are the cards. So it's an end of a stable relationship with a woman. Okay, that's the event. Let's see how that's gonna affect you. Doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. In fact, highly unlikely. Almost impossible, I would say. Shuffle. Oh, mate. All right. So the woman is going to cut off that relationship. These are the tarot cards, and they are showing that you're going to be left stranded halfway along the way. That could be that someone may pull out of a negotiation, or that woman may have promised you something and you are relying on that, and so on and so forth. It's just this woman is going to pull off the deal, or is going to pull herself off the deal, and that's going to leave you stranded for now, right? So these are going to be pretty much, you're going to end up being a victim of the circumstances that woman creates for you. But that's going to be something temporary, all right, according to the tarot cards. Definitely you can make a turnaround in the future, but for now you're just going to have to swallow that loss, right? Well, just for now you will have to swallow that loss, but it is not irreparable. Okay, and the third event for you. Those are cards. And that's a gift. It's a certain news that you are going to get a gift. All right, that is a news with certainty that a gift is coming your way. One-time gift. And let's see what the tarot says, how this gift is going to affect you. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't have to be a big one, mate. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a big one. It could be a gift that you don't pay attention to, right? It could be something that you don't care about. Well, don't think about it right now, because usually through Lenormand, they manifest in a way you do not presume, right? And it's the last thing you think about. So just don't think about it. Or it could be your lawyer, all right? Or it could be your a landlord, for example. Or it could be your neighbor. Just don't think about it. No. Death is not involved in this. This is something you are relying on to kind of like go forward with this woman, and she just bails off, all right? She just bails. Well, off the top of your head, okay? And when I say stable, I mean cooked deal. With your landlord, you do have... Yeah, exactly. Right? You may have agreed with something, like, for example, to change the air conditions, the air conditioners. And she may say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just not going to deal with that. And she pulls off the deal, and you are left stranded with no air conditioners. So... Now, this gift is going to affect you really, really well. Those are the cards, okay? Now, this gift will allow you to plan for the future, okay? And when I say plan, I mean plan in a big way for the future. It is what this gift will allow you to do so. But also is going to be restrictive. I don't know how that exactly plays out, but it's not going to allow you to, can I put it into words? Be adaptive, or rather like playful with how the future is going to go forward, but in the same time it's going to give you a certainty for the future itself, that the future can be as you wish it to be. And bear in mind that gift could be, I don't know, information, for example, okay? Because information is almost priceless. The priceless thing in this life it's health, because you just can't buy health, right? You can buy pills, procedures, and whatnot, but you cannot buy health. And after health, it's information, which is the most expensive thing in our lives. Well, again, Taco, that gift may not be the literal word of gift. Like I said, it could be an information. It could be the peace of mind, right? It's just the gift that will allow you to face the future. But it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be anything material. Okay. Next, Nancy. You're welcome, Taco. All right, see, those are cards. It's a phone call that you're gonna get, Nancy. The phone call, or it could be also through a social media, but in that particular case, it's highly unlikely. This phone call is going to be for some kind of a new partnership, right? This isn't a partnership you talked about up until this point. It's about a new partnership, and you have just impressed the other party. Whether you have impressed them with the job you did, or with the way you are, you know, or with your look, with your presence, you have impressed them with something. And the offer that you are gonna get, it's gonna be not short-term. What is the word here? I will say that way, take it or leave it. So you ain't gonna have much time to think about it. But according to these cards, Nancy, you can use it, right? You can use something like this. This offer will allow you to simply increase the bar, right? It just is going to allow you to get to start working, for example, for more money, to have a better life, just to increase the bar for yourself. But one thing you need to know, it is that if you accept it, you play the game to the very end. You won't be able to back away from it. Especially, I'm saying that if it is about a business, right? You take the offer for a joint business. That's it. You have to carry on with it. Yadabi, thank you for the 20. Thank you, Yadabi. All right, so you do want a card for your career. But another thing, Nancy, before I move to Yadabi, this offer isn't going to restrict you. Yeah, the only restriction is that you can't pull off, at least for now, at least for the next year, because again, Tarot isn't for a lifetime. But other than that, you're going to have a lot of freedom, all right? It's going to be an enterprising event or an enterprising undertaking. So you get to go forward with your passion, to do your job the way you please, but you are going to have to do your job, right? You're welcome. All right, Arabi, cards for your career. You're looking for work, or What? Just in general. All right. All right, so those are your cards here. Looking for a change, you say. Well, isn't a good time. According to these cards right now, you should be lower than the grass, okay? And not look out to poke the bear, so to speak, okay? The next 4 months, by the middle of December this year, should be the months of peace, right? And that being said, is that you should look forward to exert your influence for as much as you have it, but in a way that does not affect those around you. So it's a pretty tough job, but it should be a peaceful job for you. By the end of this year, or in December, you are going to have your chance to make your choice whether to stay at this work or whether to stay at this job or take a new one. But the new one also is going to have these advantages. So if from the scale 1 to 5, 1 to 10, I'm sorry, this job you classify as, say, 7, the other job also is going to be 7. It is just the lacks are going to be in different departments. For example, if right now you do hate your job, but it pays well, the other job is going to be that it doesn't pay that well, but you're going to like it. All right. So it still is going to have its disadvantages. But either way, if right now you're not liking how your job is going forward after the middle of December this year, you are going to be pretty okay with it. And there is going to be an improvement, okay? So pretty much, you gotta be, right now it's just a matter of survival, for lack of a better expression. You're welcome. All right, and last but not least, News Devon. What's coming your way? Let's check it. It's a Lenormand reading, News Devon. So let's see. You're welcome, Yarby. Those are your Lenormand cards, News Devon. You are gonna fight with someone over the phone or over social media, okay? And this isn't gonna be a one-time fight. That is like getting on the bad side with someone and staying that way, right? And I think that the result of all that is going to be that you're gonna sever ties with this individual. Now, whether that's someone you care about or not, well, I cannot say. But it's a very high chance that to be someone from your family. Like, for example, a cousin, like, for example, I don't know, sibling, and so on and so forth. But there is going to be quite of a significant dispute there. It's a big one. Okay, so brace yourself. And I'm sorry for the bad news. It does look like that this lunar transit is going to be a challenge for the most of us. It's going to be a challenging transit for the most of us. Yeah. Hey, news development, but bear in mind that that is just, you know, the event. How much you feed that event, that depends entirely on you. Yes, you're going to have that fight, you're going to have that argument, but you can sever ties right there, right then. All right, you don't have to feed all that and kind of like experience that negative, I don't know, enterprise for like a month or months on end. The choice is going to be yours again. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching, and also thank you so much for your generosity, and we're gonna see each other next time. Until then, bye.